now.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Radibros Podcast. Today, we are joined by our last and final member that I think all of you have been waiting for a very long time. Please welcome Jack onto the team.
Whoa. Yeah. My name is Jack Lay. I'm currently a first year Monash biomedical science student. I'm living in Australia, Melbourne, in particular. And as a student, kind of busy all day. Just trying to passing exams and living a life that would be contributing to my success in the future. But that's my life for now. Back to you, New York.
Right, thank you very much, Jack, for the very quick introduction, right? So once again, we have talked about the reason why Jack himself hasn't been able to appear in our previous podcast. This was because he is studying abroad. And luckily, during this chance, right, he is able to come back to his hometown, right? And we're able to have a Four Brothers meetup finally. Of course, to join with us today, right, besides from Jack, is of course Jerry and Arnold.
Hey there.
Alright, so let's go ahead and talk a little bit more, Jack, because I'm interested to know a little bit about let's talk a little bit about how life at Australia is like. So, how does it feel? Is it lonely? What about the cultural shocks?
So when I first moved to Australia, I actually thought that it's gonna be an all-white country and all of the culture is gonna be substantially different from what I experienced prior in Singapore and Vietnam. But in actual facts, there's been a lot of immigrations going on in Australia since even the start of the 20th century, and there's quite a substantial population of Chinese diaspora there right now. So as you know, China and Vietnam are neighboring country, so our culture is not really that much different. So when I actually reside in Australia, I still enjoy the food there. The people there are kind of similar to what I've found in Vietnamese people here, like the interactions, the language, and even the let me say the genuineness of the people there is still the same. The only difference I might have to say is that I have to adapt to the new climate system that's in Melbourne. So as you know, Melbourne's actually is a city that has 4 seasons in one day. So in the morning it could be sunny, dry, where it's a sporty place, but in the evening it could be rainy, and sometimes I even experience a storm midway through the day without actually knowing that it's gonna come on that day.
So the weather is unpredictable. Is that basically what you're trying to say?
I say yes, but the word that I'm looking forward to is like destructive. Let me tell you, there's actually like this one time where like the government there, they didn't like prepare for like a storm that's coming on the way, and the night the storm hit, the whole city has a blackout.
Oh dear. Okay. Dear goodness.
It was so bad I couldn't even use public transport.
Return to monkey.
Oh my god.
Yeah, we literally returned to the caveman era.
Oh my god. And how long was like the blackout for?
No, it was like 2 days. Man.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
How?
Yeah.
How you cook and gaming during that time?
Another side of Australia is that you think that it's like a first world country. No, they still use a lot of outdated technology there.
Mm-hmm.
And well, another time was when some guy they programmed the cellular network wrongly, and then like the whole network just collapsed, and that whole day no one can get on the train because the train uses that system.
Don't they have backups?
Huh?
Don't they have?
They don't even have backups, bro.
Wow, no backup system. Okay,
Yeah.
that's concerning, honestly.
It's a very beautiful place, very nice place to live, especially if you enjoy the wildlife, enjoy the occasional camping. Because, well, I think Australia is like one of the leading country for nature conservation, but well, when we talking about technology wise, Australia is a couple of years away from other countries. I say.
Okay, right. Thank you very much, Jack, for his very brief, right, but hopefully, I guess you could say quite comprehensive review, right, of his journey so far when he has been studying in Australia, right, studying abroad in general. All right. But of course, today, moving on to our main topic, it has something to do a little bit with human survival. And that, of course, is going to be about cooking, right? Cooking, right, as we already know, it's quite important, and you usually joke around when we say, oh, somebody's cooked. However, we're not going to mention about the definition of the meme today. Alright, so let's start off with Arnold here, passing the mic on over to Arnold. So, have you ever had a cooking accident before?
Salami Hego. So just about 2 weeks ago, when I went to Jerry's house to do this podcast once more, I accidentally burned his pan. I literally I put the oil in, and then I didn't wait for it to heat up, and then I instantly poured in the eggs, and so it kind of just wobbled there, and I forgot about it.
It was not an egg, right? I remember that.
I forgot about it for 2 minutes, and then when I dug into the egg, it just kind of burned. So I had to make scrambled eggs instead.
Dude, that's crazy. That's why it was scrambled eggs. I still remember that.
But
yeah, it was actually so bad.
But don't worry, that was revenge. He put soy sauce and hot sauce into my eggs.
Okay, now Arnold, that's actually how you season the egg. It's not my fault that you don't know how to season your egg.
You're supposed to put it afterwards.
No, you season the egg so you taste the shit inside, bro.
Okay, right. Anyways, and what about Jack? Have you ever had like any cooking accidents before?
Well, there was this once when I was in Singapore. My mom sent me a couple of fish, but I've never ever cooked fish before. So, well, they say that deep frying the fish is one of the nicer way of to cook it, you know.
Bro, you're gonna splash yourself.
Oh no, I already see what it is.
Well, I know how to deep fry a fish either, so I pour like 3-4 liters of like oil into the pan.
Bro's cooked.
Are you steaming it or are you frying it?
Mate, I think looking back, I wasn't really cooking the fish. I was trying to vaporize it.
It is.
Oh, but that's not all, right? So when I took the fish out and ate it, I mean, it seems nice. I seasoned it really nicely. But what I didn't know is that when you eat too much oil, you shat for the whole day.
Why?
And
So like diarrhea?
it was diarrhea.
Wait.
I was forced to confine myself to the toilet for 2 days straight.
I thought you were.
It smells so good, you know. It smells so good. I think that by the point that I exit the toilet, right, I could have just light a match and it would instantly burn the whole fucking toilet down because I produced so much methane.
Okay, that's actually pretty hilarious.
I thought it would be constipation.
No, it's the other way around. It's non-stop waterfall of human manure.
Well, that explains it. No, that's actually very interesting. We've never heard of this story before.
Bro.
That's actually so interesting.
I think 90% of the fat in your body was from that fish.
Okay, thank you very much, Jack, for the story. And what about Jerry here? Has Jerry had any cooking accidents before?
Well, guys, when talking about cooking accident, I'm no stranger. Well, back then, I remember it was like, 12th grade, 11th grade. My school were having a, how you say this? Spring festival, right? And we were selling chickens. Our class was selling chicken. Fried chicken with sauce of the supreme kind of Korea.
That sounds kind of horrifying if you are the one who's making that.
Well, believe it or not, everyone loves it. Actually, my class was thinking about opening a cafe before eating my chicken.
What?
And after tasting the chicken, my class, we would decide to go with the chicken.
What?
No. You guys
I
haven't.
think someone would be
You
you
guys haven't tasted the chicken
I have
yet.
an idea for your name. East Hamonella.
You guys haven't tasted chicken yet, so don't blame me. All right. So if you guys all know, I do have a bit of drama within the group about me cooking, but this is a different topic. And anyhow, about the chicken. So it also went smoothly. Everyone have to, make the chicken cooked before going to the festival. While on the festival, there was a process of re-cooking the chicken with deep frying it. And someone, I won't mention that someone here, but we accidentally dropped a block of ice into the oil. It was steaming hot, and water meet oil at high temperature equal kaboom. Well,
Hydrophobic oil.
well, that's a story. Thank God no one got
I
burned.
think it's not hydrophobic, it's homophobic. Because this guy's homo.
Well, guys, I think I'm both.
Okay, thank you very much. And as for me, I could say that because I'm not a person who enters like the kitchen a lot, so I don't have a lot of experience in this. But Jack and Jerry definitely remembers the time when I visited Jack's house and I couldn't crack an egg. You remember that? Yeah. That's basically the only thing that I have regarding this matter.
I think I feel like Neo's gonna be that one guy who, even if you give him like unlimited food supply, he will still starve himself to death.
No, that could be very true. That could be very true. Okay, right. Thank you very much, everybody. Next up, right? I think this is more towards Jerry once again. But do you find any joy in cooking? This is a little bit of a strange question, but what about you, Jerry? What do you think about it?
Well, I find it very interesting in cooking. Because, let's say I was cooking chicken or fish. I would find many ways to cook it. Because, okay, if you know me well enough, I don't like fish. I don't like fish at all. But if I partake in the cooking and season the fish the way I want, I can experiment with how the fish is going to taste, how I'm going to create the food. It's a process of production, and you're going to get a product in the end, right? And me, as a consumer and the producer, want the product to be good. And thus keep experimenting.
Not biology.
Alright, hear me out. Essentially, in a nutshell,
Stop the fucking
I like making stuff that tastes good. And I like to eat good stuff that tastes good. And so cooking help let you experiment with stuff and know what's bad, what's good. And I guess that's it. That's it for me. Everyone don't want to hear me yap about food and cooking.
Then thank you.
Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
This concludes our academic speaking.
I'm sorry, but this is not British Got Talent.
Yeah. And what about you, Arnold? Do you find any joy in cooking, or is it just something that you do because it's necessary for our survival?
Oh man, cook good food go in mouth go into stomach go out excrete, and this is life.
Yeah, honestly, right? I think most of us, yes, biology. Basically, that's how it works, right? But personally, I think for people like chefs, they do find like a lot of meaning in the things that they make, right? Because first off, not only do they have to prepare like the ingredients, like some people they get their sources from different places in foods. But another thing is that the way that they plate their food as well. I think it's quite interesting, right? However, right, here's also another interesting question here is that, so Arnold, for you, would you rather, right, eat something that is not like palatable, right, or but like something that looks a little bit bad but it could potentially taste good, or something that's pleasing to the eye but would taste a little bit subpar?
I'm a gambler at heart. I would take my chances, even it gives me salmonella or it gives me diarrhea. I prefer constipation because I get to sit on the toilet for a long time.
Right, so as you can see, right, everybody, there are a lot of things to consider when you look at the food, right? There are, when you look at something, it might create an appetite for you to eat, but sometimes if it's not displayed properly or if it looks like a pile of let's just say animal waste, then you wouldn't really want to have a bite at all, right? And moving on.
I disagree, man.
Oh, really? Go ahead, Jack. Go ahead.
Well, as a person who live in multiple Chinese community, I say that the Asian people, especially the Chinese, they care more about what they're taking in rather than how it looks.
Do you see how
It's like the flavors more, right?
See how they season their food?
Yeah, it's the flavors and the smell, the pheromones, rather than the actual display of the food. You notice how in like some Chinese community they have this dish called Thai fan, which like just mean like mixed vegetable rice, where like they just put whatever they want to eat onto the dish with rice, and even though it looks like a mumbo jumbo of like random meat, you know, like
ingredients,
you can say it's mysterious meat, even.
Mysterious meat.
It tastes nice. Honestly, it tastes nice, and I wouldn't be hesitate to eat that anytime.
I'm just imagining your story with an uncle smoking cigarette and just pulling out his wok and just making it on the fly.
Mate, that's actually what happened. Okay,
Wow.
like Chinese people, they love the wok, man. Everyone needs to have one wok in their home. You know.
Jerry, do you have a wok in your home right now?
Oh wait, you're not an Asian.
I do.
He
Exactly.
does?
Actually.
Okay,
Everyone has a wok, and
any Asian
the
household.
reason is because we love the smell of the wok. It's called the wok hair, man. We need that. We need that.
You don't got wok, you're not Asian.
Yeah, you don't have wok. You are disowned by your Asian family.
Okay, it's canonical by law of Vietnam that if you don't have a wok, you're out.
You know what? What else is like pretty good about owning a wok?
What?
When a thief comes at your hat, you can just fling it at their face.
Exactly, it's
That's
a
true.
self-defense weapon as well. Works very well, I think.
It's a fucking shield, man.
If you guys
It's a 2-in-1 product.
have you guys watched Kung Fu Panda?
Exactly.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, right. Thank you very much, Jack, for challenging my opinion, right? But it actually is very insightful, right? Considering your experience with a lot of I would say Chinese foods, right, and different communities as well. Next up, right, is a rather interesting question. As I just mentioned to all of you, is that I never really entered the kitchen, so as a result, I could never really prepare myself for maybe even studying abroad. But for young children, right, do you think that it is important for them to learn how to cook? And what do you think it teaches them, Jerry?
All right. Here's what I think. Well, young children should definitely learn how to cook.
Yeah, because Jerry once cooked a steak that's still
Bop,
moving.
bop, 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 bop. Now, none of that now.
You
Well.
cooked a very rare steak, didn't you?
That was one time, guys. That was one
He
time.
very rare steak. He cooked a legendary steak.
That was one time, people. All right, back to the topic. Okay, so I think children should learn how to cook. Well, first off, it teaches them how to combine stuff to make good stuff. It teaches them the value of the stuff they're producing because they don't really understand like why are we learning. Well, you're learning to produce value, and when you're cooking, you're producing what you're eating. You're both the consumer and the producer. Yeah.
You just also mentioned that earlier as well. That's an interesting way to think about it. What about Arnold? Arnold, what do you think about children learning about cooking at an early age?
Well, first off, I didn't personally learn cooking at an early age. I sort of just had to adapt to it because my mom, my parents, and my brother weren't really home at the time. So I had to...
Was it really humming at the time?
Bro, Jerry's gonna do a lot of editing now. Too bad. But I think children should, because when I started out, I just kind of didn't know how to cook. So the first time I tried to cook rice, I didn't wash the rice. I just kind of...
Oh no!
I saw a video about people cooking rice. They kind of poured the water in and then they turned white, so I assumed that I had to pour in milk. So the first time I cooked rice, I had to put in milk and then I cooked it for, like, I just leave it there. And when it came out, it was
Soggy.
so soggy. Bro,
That's what we call primitive milk pudding.
bro,
Rice pudding.
at that point it was porridge, not even rice.
Oh yeah.
But back to the point is
Well, the thing is that it's kind of interesting.
But back to the main point, I think children should learn how to cook because it teaches them how to care for themselves. Because most of the time, the image of children not knowing how to do laundry, how to clean their house or clean or organize.
Isn't that image in front of you?
I mean, I'm surrounded.
yours?
I'm surrounded by everyone. But to be fair, that is the reality of teenagers nowadays. We're just kind of on our phone and surfing TikTok. But we should know how to survive at the very least, because that's the very baseline of our survival. That's the baseline of being alive. So we should know how to live. Exactly.
Okay.
Remember, kids, it's either that you cook or you get cooked.
Right, thank you very much, all three of you. Right, it's important, yes, right, and it's quite interesting, right, to see that cooking is such an important part, and it's also necessary, right? I think we don't really need to ask for Jack's opinions because when he travels and studies abroad, he definitely has to cook. Right, and moving on to perhaps one of our final discussion questions for today, right? Increasingly, right, you already see the rise of something called food delivery services, right, or even pre-made food. I think in like America and like other stuff, you may have seen on our YouTube channels where like products like Blue Apron and like HelloFresh, not sponsored by the way, right? They are just all around YouTube, and it's just basically ingredients that you can cook by yourself, or you have something called convenience stores where they make food readily available for you. So, Jerry, first off, do you prefer homemade food or pre-made food? And do you think that pre-made food, like some people, they don't have time, they have to eat, do you think it's justified, or do you think they can improve their lifestyles?
Well, I think homemade food is always the best. If you don't have, like, for example, homemade food, you can plan out your ingredients. You are responsible for all the things you made. You can plan out, how much vegetable I want, which one I like. Well, if you are like so busy for work, then why bother? Why bother using all the pre-made food, the option? I know it sounds kind of contradicting, but then again, instead of go for a pre-made meal, why don't you just rearrange your time, spend some time to take care of yourself. Because there's no way there's 24 hours a day and you can spend 15 minutes to make your own damn food.
Okay, and so what about Jackson Arnold's opinion on homemade food versus pre-made food?
Well, my opinion, it's fine. But if you have too much money and you don't know what to do with it, then sure, pre-made food is fine. But the thing is, if you don't find cooking enjoyable, then pre-made food is actually beneficial for you, because you don't need to think about those things. And you can just focus on what you prefer to do rather than cooking. And what about Jack? What do you think?
Well,
Damn.
thinking to the cost of living crisis in Australia, if I'm not home cooking, I may be dead in a week. Because every time I eat out in Australia, it costs me fucking $50.
I can fact check that. Last time me and Jack went to eat with each other, we had only 5 people, and the whole meal costed $300. That was only for one dinner.
Wow.
Exactly.
Was it good?
It was good. It was banger, but man, $300
$300, man,
for one meal.
dinner.
Yeah.
For one meal.
Imagine like one day and then 1 month. It's
It's
crazy.
gone, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, that's the reality in Australia right now. Well, I guess even if I don't want to home cook, I'm being coerced into it, and in the near future, I don't think there's any way out of that responsibility.
I mean, unless you're filthy rich.
Well, yeah, and unless you are an international student from China or something, you can't. You just can't afford it.
Alright, but yeah, actually Arnold just reminded me of an interesting point. Like, yeah, wait, homemade food, right? Like, if you're rich, then you can just hire a private chef and just do it for you, right? So it's technically still homemade. And they're probably gonna buy the ingredients for you. So
technically, it's not really cooking because you don't need to.
yeah, yeah, technically it's not you cooking, but fair enough, honestly. All right, thank you very much. Actually, yeah, once again, I think that's like an interesting idea to think about. Anyways, right, but overall, right, you have met the final and last member of today, of the podcast, right, which is going to be Jack, and this will be quite interesting in the future as well, right? Perhaps we could have some more solo episodes where Jack can share his thoughts on favorite manga and anime with Jerry. That could be an interesting topic for one day.
What the heck is that?
Right, but overall, right, we've talked a little bit about cooking, right, and know that it is an essential skill both for young people and really anyone, right, who really needs to live. And the debate about homemade versus pre-made food, it depends, right? Each one of us has our own kinds of thinking, but in the end, we also hope that you also come to your own conclusion, right? Because either way, both of them can be a good alternative.
Okay, well.
That's going to be all for today's Radibros Podcast. Once again, thank you very much for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next episode. Goodbye!